Welcome back on the Running Eagle Sports Network. My name is Billy Mangum, the Sports Information Director here at Life University. I'm joined today by head women's soccer coach Sam Clark. Nice eyebrows, by the way.
I didn't think you noticed it.
Talk about the 2019 season. Coach, thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, of course. Just sitting around in middle of July in the office.
It's busy times. Kids get here.
Super
kids get
busy.
here soon.
Yeah, couple of weeks.
The
25th.
Yeah, kids start coming in this week, next week.
All the weeks.
It's going to be crazy.
Yep.
So, Coach, started out the season August 21st on the road, playing Reinhardt.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty decent squad. They finished receiving votes last year. Looking down the chart, you see a lot of the teams that you're playing outside of conference have done significant things. Definitely going to be a challenge for you guys. Let's talk a little bit about your overall schedule, and then we'll get into some of the more specifics towards the end. So talk a little bit about starting out the season on the road at Reinhardt, kind of up the street, almost like a crosstown rival at this point.
Yeah, it's a little derby. It's a little. We play them every year. They're like opponent. So it's good to see maybe how our team matures and grows, playing teams that we've played several years in a row. And they were our home opener last year. They're going to be our season opener this year. So it's a friendly down the street kind of rivalry that we always like to play against. So, but yeah, they're going to be a tough opponent. They win some quality games, and they do it with a lot of athleticism and speed. So it'll be a good, right out of the gate kind of match for us.
Yeah, definitely. And then returning home, August 27th, you got Johnson and Wales. Then you jump back on the road 3 days later. But that Johnson and Wales game, that'll be the first time. You've got almost a relatively brand new starting team or team as a whole.
Right.
A lot of new pieces to figure out. How do you think the team's going to adjust starting out the season on the road, and then coming home against a Johnson and Wales team?
Yeah, I think going on the road for our first game, it kind of gives us a little bit of isolation or team intimacy, to where it's just us. We're going on the road against an opponent, and then we come back and then we have our home environment. We have the other student athletes out here celebrating our games, and so I think that's just kind of a good way to enter the season.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a good way to kind of test your team, and then you come back home for Tennessee Wesleyan and Kaiser. Tennessee Wesleyan and Kaiser both very, very stout opponents. What are you looking to see out of your team?
Like you said, coming off Tennessee Wesleyan, which won the ACC conference, and then getting back, training, do what we need to do, and then going to play the number 2 team in the nation. I think that time in between was more critical for us to get prepared for Kaiser, and then coming off Tennessee Wesleyan than it was to play Virgin Islands.
Yeah, definitely. And then jumping into Mid-South Conference play. Mid-South Conference,
it's a monster. It's a monster of a conference.
Good. And then in the middle of conference play, you play Georgia Gwinnett.
Yeah, another down the street derby. I think they finished.
A staple.
Yeah, they finished about 6th in the nation at the last postseason poll. So they're another good opponent. We ended up 0-2 against them last year late in the season. That was a great result for us. But yeah, we're excited. The schedule that we have built, it's very intentional. It has to be challenging because our conference is so laden with top 25 opponents that if we don't see them until conference, we might not be as successful. So I've got to play, we have to play those teams early in the season to get used to what the conference is going to be like for us.
And I think, one of the things that we talked about with Coach Palma is, those big 3, Campbellsville, Lindsey Wilson, Cumberland. Lindsey Wilson and Cumberland both getting nationally ranked last year. But we have those 3 games at home.
Yeah.
That's a huge advantage. Yeah. Getting to play in front of our home crowd, our home field. Talk a little bit about the advantages that your team will have playing those 3 games at home. Here at Lupo Family Field.
Right. So playing on Lupo Field, that gives us the advantage anyway because we're familiar with the field. We know the speed of the terrain. We the turf is all that. Is how we play, it's how we practice. We're in our kind of comfort zone, but then playing against components that we know are going to come after us, that's a fun challenge for us. And in front of a crowd where, we've got the basketball team supporting us, we've got the wrestlers out there supporting us. It's a rowdy crowd, it's loud, it's fun, it's a fun environment. Probably one of our green games is going to be during that time to where we have the entire, student body behind us. I think that just gives us a psychological advantage. And like I said, at the end of the day, we're playing home games, and those home games are fun. And that always gets you a little bit more amped up and excited, when you're out there and you're wearing your home kits and you're, playing where you want to play, and you've got your locker room, you've got your coaching staff, your SID, and everything is it's just so much more fun. And those big 3 games, like those are meaningful games, and to have those at home, that's a huge win for us right there.
Definitely. So almost, it's kind of funny, looking at your schedule and then on the men's soccer schedule on the other side, it's almost completely polar opposite. You have a very home-dominated schedule, whereas men's soccer is very away. But I think, with the new unit that you're bringing in, this could be very, very, very beneficial. Heading into the conference tournament, everyone wants to win that conference title. But preparing your team and allowing them to not only get to know each other better, but to learn how to play on Lupo Family Field. Those new kids bringing in that will come back next year and the next year and the next year. Right. What do you think is the big advantage of having a very, very home dominated schedule?
Well, I think having a home schedule, it takes away the element of maybe there's something that happens on the road during travel, like you're familiar with the food that you're going to eat here. So your schedule and everything, you take out those psychological factors, and now you really can just focus on the game. You don't have to worry about, is the bus going to get here in time? Where's the restaurant that we're going to eat at? So
Definitely.
it's in those sense, it's very comforting, and then all you have to do is prepare solely on the game tactics and the game plan. But when you're on the road too, that's an awesome opportunity for it to be, you and your team and your teammates, and like you're just going out against a crowd that doesn't want you there. And so that, that's also fun, like for the men. I mean, they're going to have a good time on the road a lot. And so I just think, it's playing soccer at the end of the day, whether you're doing it at home or you're doing it away. Like if you are out there and you're loving it and you're having a good time and you're doing it with the people that you enjoy doing it with, like that's all that matters.
Yeah, I think each one has its strengths and weaknesses with home and away, with away the challenge is, testing your team and everything like that, but in a way, that's kind of a strength. And, with home kind of comes with a little bit of pressure, because you are in front of your home crowds.
And a little bit of pride.
Exactly,
you're out there playing with pride, you're wearing your team colors, you've got your logo out there, you've got a little bit of, expectation to win because you're at home, but you and I both know that doesn't always mean you get home cooking favor from the refs.
But speaking on that, expectations, just as the season is now just a couple weeks away, what is your overall expectation for how you want your team to perform and how you expect to see the season go?
Well, like you've mentioned several times, we do have a large amount of new incoming players. So for us, that blended with the returning players, the culture, getting the culture right, basically treating this like a year one culture is what's going to be important, because if we aren't doing that right, then the stuff on the field isn't going to come, like that just doesn't happen, So for us, the expectation is that we come in, we work hard, we enjoy each other's company, we work hard for each other, and at the end of the day, like the results will happen the way they want to. But like for me, our main focus is going to be making sure that we have the locker room right.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as an early program, it's kind of that you're trying to find your culture, and then you're trying to mix in these new players. Heading into that third, fourth year. You're starting to get, these are the players that I've recruited. These are the players that are sticking around. They've kind of got this culture, and then you have to kind of merge that with all the new players that are coming in.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I think the most important role is the role of the returning players, because they come in and they, you onboard the new players. They know what the culture is. They've been through it. They've seen the conference games. They've been in situations where it maybe wasn't friendly or they wanted to do things differently. And this is a huge opportunity for the returning players to really build the program with the way they want the program to be built too.
Awesome. Well, I greatly appreciate you sitting down, Coach, and best of luck this season.
Yes.